So you don't need to be an influencer, but you do need to show up for your brand. Here's why your brand depends on you as the founder or the executive or an entrepreneur. People are not buying from your social media team or AI. They're buying from you. And you're also the closest to the subject of your business. I learned this all too well. There were a couple of weeks, or let's call it even months, where I was just slammed as a founder of an agency and brand consultancy. And I kind of mailed it in for those months on social media and even within our content. I was always in that, behind the helm or at the helm of my business and writing the content and topics. But ultimately, I was kind of mailing it in, handing it off to my social team. I just started to find that the social media that we were putting out really didn't reflect my actual thoughts. And it's no fault of our social media team. I just think I took for granted how important it is to stay in the visibility lane of your company. And so I think what we've done at Tribe is we've taken a different path. I'm now working in collaboration with my social media team versus just kind of handing over the keys and not really having any input. One of my social media managers, Naomi, her and I were talking the other day, and I said, I just feel like I need to be more involved because I'm the one talking to the clients all day long. I'm the one talking on sales calls all day long. I'm the one writing the blogs, writing the newsletters, and I kind of am the person behind the scenes running the show. And so I know the pain points of our clients. I understand the industry. This is what I have my entire career built on. So it's unfair to task someone who's just stepping in for your business, although my social team's been with me since the start. So they're very well versed in Tribe and what we do. But the point of this video is to talk about while it's easy to delegate that, and trust me, people delegate it to Tribe Agency all the time. That's not the message that I'm trying to convey here. Delegating it to others to do the work, physically upload the videos or physically post on Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, all the things. That's not what I'm talking about. I still have someone that does all the engineering, let's just say, of our content. But ultimately, I am writing the content. And if I'm not writing the content, I'm working very closely with our copywriter on exactly what I'm trying to say and how I'm trying to say it. And I think it's important. It was important for me to kind of reconcile with myself that the reason why the content for that, let's call it month, wasn't really resonating, we didn't have as great of engagement, was truly because I just withdrew from it. I was so busy that I just couldn't put the time and attention. Now I've decided to really lean into content because I think it's everything. It's part of your brand voice, but it's also so important for people to trust you and see you as the authority within your space. You've got to be involved. Should you be the executive producer of your content? And I actually think yes. The answer is yes. I had that conversation with myself, and instead of just bitching about it, no, I wouldn't have said it that way, or, oh, I don't like that post, or I don't like that content, it doesn't resonate. I just had to start saying, I know all the content. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. If you're a founder like myself, or even running a company, I personally use Google Workspace for all of our emails and various tools. I found within Google, within the workspace, if you are a Google user, they have something called Google Tasks, and you can actually add that to your phone as well as your computer. And I have it on both. And anytime I have a conversation, both through Zoom meetings or in person meetings, and there's something that either comes up a lot, meaning it's a conversation that continues to be had within my ideal client profile, I write it down as a content idea. And it's not just a social media post idea. I'm talking about the big picture. We call it the weekly drop. So, what is the content for the week? And we really base it around one main topic. And that topic goes into our blog, it goes into our LinkedIn newsletter, it goes into our email newsletter, and it threads through our social media content. And even now, because we're getting a lot more busy on YouTube, it goes into our YouTube strategy. So I personally find that to work because I have my phone with me. I am so in the business that I can't discount the knowledge that I have, and I can't throw that expectation on my social media team. So what I have committed to is, one, I write down on Google Tasks, either on my phone or on my computer, anytime something comes to mind, even if I don't have it fully baked out, just a topic that keeps coming up. The reason why that's so important for those that are not in marketing and maybe listening to this video is it's called voice of customer. So if you know the voice of customer and you understand their pain points and their problems that they're trying to solve, and how they show up and understand information, which I guarantee you do. If you're talking to clients all day long or you're talking to prospects all day long, you understand them. So taking that information that's come from those conversations or meetings and infusing it into your content plan is a win-win, because one, you're involved and you're showing up as the brand ambassador of your company. But two, it's resonating with your ideal client profile. As I mentioned, trust is built through visibility. So, we at one point had a faceless account on our social media. We had built one out just seeing how it would go. It flopped. It did not do well. Even though all of the signs had pointed to these faceless accounts, kill it, and you can not have to be on camera. That's bullshit. That's just not true. It's just not true. You have to be in the lane of your content. You have to be behind it. You have to be writing the copy. You have to be involved. And buyer beware, it's not fun. I don't thoroughly enjoy social media, but I do enjoy telling stories. And I also enjoy really listening to our clients and really understanding what their needs are. Because if I don't, how am I going to move them towards working with us? If I don't know their needs and I don't understand their pain, then why am I in business? Right? So I know all of those things. I don't know everything. I certainly learn every day. But what I do know is that I'm much closer to my business and their needs and my clients than anyone else in my company. And I think it's important, again, your mission better than anyone else. It doesn't need to be daily, but it needs to be strategic. And so I think thinking about this, putting a Google Task or a notes app on your phone and just jotting ideas down as they come to you based on reality, based in the lane that you're in, and that'll resonate so much more than just coming up with something stupid for the day. When we turned over a new leaf in our strategy for content and we really focused on having me, the founder, involved, who is the face of the company. I am the face of my brand, whether I like it or not. It's just better. People like the message and they receive the message and it feels connected. So that's all I can say to you on that. Long and short, your brand isn't missing content, it's just missing you. So I think if you aren't involved, even if you're working with an agency like Tribe or any other, just be more pronounced in what you want going out every month. If they're doing your blogs or they're doing your email newsletters or they're doing your social media content, which, by the way, we do all of those things for our clients, just be more involved, be more aware. When you have a conversation that consistently comes up in client calls, or if you're in front of a customer and they're saying the same thing over and over again, write that down and find a way to address it or even talk through it. Be provocative, obviously, and speak through authority. I think that'll connect more than just flat, monotone, unoriginal content that everybody seems to be doing these days. I just did a whole post on be the yellow bird. So I think in this instance, be the yellow bird.